coming from Patrick Lodge in out of Yorkshire, and you'll love that poem as well. And then the whole rest of the time on the 21st is all of you. All of you can join us on the 21st. So we're about 6 minutes out. We have reached our capacity. We're almost entirely 99, I'll say 99.9% sure. But as I always like to say, and of course I do this, I love listening. I really, really love listening to the poetry. So for those of you not reading, first of all, um, thank you for being here to be one of the deep listeners. And if you don't make it on the open mic today, we of course welcome you. And even if you do, we welcome you back on the 21st, winter solstice, for our holiday poetry open mic, our last reading of the fall season. So we hope you'll be able to join us back. And of course, the moon theme continues. I'll announce all of this at the end of the reading today, but next week, our new poet showcase, all four poets, moon in the title of their books. Fabulous, fabulous quartet. So I hope you'll be able to really carve out some moon time these next today, next Sunday, and the following Sunday. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So looking forward to hearing our featured poets today and all of you on the open mic. Yeah, we're just minutes away from Karen J. McDonnell and Elise Patchen, who will, like, yeah, I've had the pleasure of hearing them both read, and you are in for, as usual here, a very, although not so usual, because today it's particularly going to be particularly luminous, particularly luminous. So thank you one and all for being here on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope it is a positive one for you. As mentioned,
Um,
go ahead,
I
Kim.
am, yes, I just want to reiterate, folks, that we feel pretty confident that we will be able to get to the first 10 folks on the list. And I'm going to go ahead and share that before we get started. We have about 3 minutes before program time. Then we have a waiting list, and you know who you are coming after this first 10. And as time allows, I'll add one or two in coming up as we go. It's one poem, 3 minutes or less, everyone. Please try to honor that so we can get to as many folks as possible. If you want to share your screen when it's time for you to read, simply say that out loud to Don and he will make that available to you. That's not something I can control. I just got a private message about that. So that's why I'm making the announcement to everyone. If you want to share screen, just ask when it's your turn out loud, and Don will help with that. Have a great reading, everyone. Looking forward to hearing you. And thank you, featured poets. We're so excited.
Thank you, and thank you, Kim Ports Parsons, for all that you do to make this starship run. uh, yeah, we're just a couple minutes away from beginning the program for today, and as you can see in the chat, if you have, you can see in the chat our first 10 readers in the open mic following Karen and Elise will you'll be up right after our featured readers. Again, folks, I will do my very, very best to keep my enthusiasm to a minimum to get as many of you onto the open mic as possible. And I want to thank all of you for being here today for our first reading of the month of December, our Poets Focus on Moon. With a very quick reminder before we go live that, of course, feel free to put things in the chat about upcoming readings that you have this month, any announcements about publications, and because that can kind of keep keep you under your 3 minutes as well and create some more space for us to get other folks in. Just a very quick reminder that because we're just getting ready to go live, that it's one poem if you're on the open mic after up to 3 minutes, one poem. Are in Yeah, so just a reminder of that, and please do stick to that to allow us to get as many voices in today on our program. Well, we literally are just, oh yeah, we're there. So folks, thank you so much. I'm very looking forward to hearing all of your poetry. That's my cue. Well, good afternoon, good evening, bienvenidos, one and all. Welcome to Cultivating Voices Live Poetry and to a luminous December, where we are primed to celebrate this season of light with you. And today it's the first Sunday. So you are joining us for our Poets Focus, where we take a word and look at it prismatically through poetry. And today's word is moon. And here I have my moon globe sitting right beside me, all reading long. Well, we have our fabulous, fabulous featured guest poets. Honestly, two of the finest in Irish and American letters are joining us today. Karen J. McDonnell and Elise Patchen, and their latest collections that incorporate the moon right through the fabric of their poetry. And of course, all of you on the open moonlit mic following our two featured readers. Well, I'm your host, Sandy Yannone, and as always, we're joined by the folks who make this whole solar system work, thanks to Don Krieger and Kim Ports Parsons. Well, I won't speak for all of you, but I continue to live in these times that do not always feel that hospitable to healthy connections in the world. Place after place where I've traveled to experience poetry, like where I was yesterday, where I facilitated an ekphrastic poetry workshop based on an exhibit called Wonderland, I meet people who do and do not call themselves poets, but who do feel drawn, particularly now, to poetry's necessary light. They feel its nourishment, as one participant told me at the end of our gathering yesterday. This really echoes what I said during last month's Poets Focus, our Poets Focus on the word connect, that I truly believe that connection, especially through poetry, is the antidote to profound disregard for human dignity. And when we gather, as we are gathering right now, we always create more light, more integrity from that spirit of connection. So, before I introduce our first reader today, just a few details for the good order of this reading. The chat is live, so please use it respectfully and generously to show your appreciation for today's readers. Thanks to those of you who also are watching us live on Facebook or YouTube. And we will be posting links to our featured poets collections here live in our chat. So purchase a book for yourself or for another. It's a terrific way during this season of giving to give the gift of poetry. So please consider buying one, two, or as many copies of their books as your giving allows. And now for our first reader, Karen J. McDonnell. You all know how much I love when I get to connect in person. And I've had the pleasure of time with Karen, not just once, but during my last two visits to Ireland, including this past July when we had a glorious day-long tour of her beloved childhood places in County Clare. It was such an incredible gift to be able to spend that day with you, Karen. And of course, it makes it all the more special when we then can reconnect over the publication of a poet's new book. So, want to just acknowledge and say congratulations on the new book and go quickly to Karen's bio. Karen J. McDonnell's writing is widely published and anthologized, including in the Poetry Box, Peacekeepers Anthology from Culture Matters UK, Washing Windows 5 from Arling House. The Washing Windows series is an extraordinary anthology series coming out of Ireland. Vital Signs from Poetry Ireland, Skylight 47, Crannog, the Stony Thursday book, where we are happy press mates. 50th anniversary edition of the Stony Thursday book. Let's give a quick shout out there to Jim Burke and John Liddy for that extraordinary milestone. Well, Karen's been published in all of those and many others, and her poem Driftwood was shortlisted for the Irish Poem of the Year at the Irish Book Awards, as well as her nonfiction and poetry have as well been nominated for Best of the Net and the Pushcart Prize. Her collections, This Little World and Tidal, are published by Doire Press, and she lives in the west of Ireland. Do I always say Doire, but is it Dory?
Dura.
Dora. I'm not even
Dura.
close.
That's okay. It's Irish,
No,
so
it's
you know,
not really, but
you're forgiven.
thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being with us.
I'm just thrilled to be here. Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you.
Oh, there I am, big on screen. Oh God.
It happens to all of us when we join Cultivating Voices.
Okay. Okay, not every poem has a moon in it. So, you know. So what I'm going to do is actually give you a poem from my first collection because it's called Supermoon, so I have to give you that in the 15 minutes. And if I run over time, just, you know, shout at me. I did time myself, so I hope it'll be okay. Just to give you a bit of context, is my sound okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Great, thank you. I live in a place called the Burren, which is in North Clare, and it's this magnificent and very spiritual landscape that's pure limestone, and yet it's incredibly fertile. It's known as the Fertile Rock. So I just wanted to give you that as a bit of context. Supermoon. Optimism is no match for Burren mists. Chasing a supermoon in cloud cover is fruitless. A U-turn at Karen, back to the height of the Corker. Not a dot, not a pulse of lunar light. She circles the sky as I sleep. The wind plays catch with the tide at Finnevara. In the Martello Tower, history pulls up the ladder, hiding in rounded shadows. I wake at dawn to find her, the luminous beauty, caught in the branches of my ash tree. A jet stream shears the invisible. She moves slowly behind slumbering Kapanawala, and I am the idiot in the car, following her to open water to witness the drowning. So, a true story. So I'm going to give you another poem, another moon poem from the new collection Tidal. Then I'm going to do a poem that I want to read especially for Sandy. Then I'm going to go to something else, and I'll come back and I'll do the final title poem. And if there's time for another one, I will, but we'll see how we go. So, on the edge of a continent, a sliver of gold is showing off in the bluing sky. That May moon should be on top of a minaret. Two blackbirds are up late, enjoying the moment the cat goes indoors. They call tranquility across the field to each other, their evening prayer. At midnight, the gods come out to play, conjuring up millenniums of awe in the DNA of the rational ones who still proclaim it's the aurora borealis down to visit from the far north. But their secret selves are back at the standing stones, afraid of inhaling coloured night air. This one I wanted to read for Sandy because it's got the word glass in it. And it's actually a very recent poem. Well, because of climate change, we're getting an awful lot. I mean, living on, I do live on the edge of the continent, the west of Ireland, we get all the Atlantic storms on this side. And we had a really bad one earlier this spring called Stormy Owen. So it's about that. Also, my dad has been very ill. After the storm, my brother says that all the glass in Dad's damaged glasshouse must go. Another storm is coming. As he begins to take it out, square by methodical square, it becomes open and clear. This is how it will be when it happens. Like a glass house, framing a lonely space, painless, with the sun off about its carefree business and the wind careless in its flight. A sad cathedral, in want of a congregation, wistful for the summer gift of warm tomatoes, blessings that will not come again. Okay, I'm going to go to what I was going to go to, and then I might come back to another one before Tidal, because I think I'm doing okay. At the end of the book, there's a long sequence, and it took me years to write it, but obviously not every day of the year, but it took me a long time to try and I wanted to do it, and I needed to try and figure out how I could structure it on the page. It's called And What Else? And it's a response to The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper, a book by Hallie Rubenholt. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with that book, but I would urge people to read it. It's absolutely magnificent. It's a work of scholarship. It is impeccably researched. It has endnotes. It has a couple of appendices, but it is not like an academic thesis. It's a book that lives, and the lives of the 5 women are what counts, because the murderer barely gets mentioned. So what started me off with this was I read one of the appendices is the actual original 19th century police list of personal effects that were found in the women when they died, when they were killed. And I wanted to do something with that. So the sequences, I'm explaining it because it needs a bit of explaining. So the sequence is divided into 2 parts, some personal effects, and then And What Else, which gives each of the women a voice. So what I'm hoping to do for the first time, I haven't read this out loud to anybody, I'm hoping to give you Elizabeth Stride. And what I didn't know until I read the book was that Elizabeth, because it happened in London, we just presumed everybody was English, but Elizabeth wasn't. She was Swedish. So here we go. So I'm going to give you her personal effects, and then I'll go into the rest of the poem. Some personal effects. Elizabeth Stride. Long black cloth jacket, fur trimmed around the bottom, with a red rose and white maidenhair fern pinned to it. A key to a padlock. A thimble. And what else? Sound never dies. It carries its own energy and origin memory in waves, circumnavigating, traversing, rocketing upwards. Cries, curses, and prayers, laughter and lovemaking go on forever. So go on. Can we not allow unspoken thoughts, whispers to the deep self, the same freedom? If secrets told to cobblestones and blackbirds can fly, and old talk, amens and songlines travel beyond the earth's blue girdle, why not memories? The mind is a skirt with many pockets, trailing a hem stitched with memory. So go on. Ask these women, what else? Elizabeth. Smells of the barn in Torslanda. Snow squeaking underfoot in the birch forest and ice crisping the lakeside sedge. Semlor and lingonberry jam bursting tart on the tongue before Ash Wednesday arrives, grey and sullen into the Swedish spring. City, syphilis, pure house, stillborn daughter. Over the waves, sea, sick, seasick. In service, John, not John. Charring on the Sabbath. Whore closets, 32 Flowery Dean Street, a green length of velvet, a dress never made. Pawn shop. Patting out my bonnet's band with newspaper, a borrowed brush to get the mud off before heading out. My Swedish hymn book left in Mrs. Smith's keeping. For thine is the kingdom. Buses and gin on a Thames stone stairs. Sweets to make the breath sweeter. In the last second, pure light from above, my crown of candles on St. Lucia's feast day. And another reason I chose that is it's St. Lucia's feast in December. And there is this beautiful tradition. And again, it goes back to what you were talking about the solstice, that pagan thing about light and the coming of the light in winter. And in Sweden, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but the young girls, they all come together and they actually wear these beautiful garlands, crowns with lit candles, and they gather in the churches to sing. And so it's rather beautiful. So am I okay for time? Yeah, 1 or 2? 2. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do another serious one and then I'll come back and I'll do the final. Not a moon in any of the, in this one anyway. I was saying I've read this at both of the launches, and it's there. I do have in my first book, I have a poem that actually mentions a particular incident that happened in 2014 in Gaza. And I've been to the West Bank. I haven't been to Gaza, but I've been to the West Bank, and I've been trying and feeling I should be writing something and finding it very difficult. And actually, somebody I met at a reading 2 weeks ago was saying exactly the same thing. So I don't feel quite so bad. But I was almost that feeling that it would almost be an insult to try and write a poem by what has happened. And yet I felt I had to. So I went back to one of those scribbled notes that I had made about something I saw in a documentary, and I had squirreled away for a poem sometime. And I went back to that, and this is the poem that has come out of it. In these times of war, there has always been maiming and melting and murdering. stones, swords, longbows, terracotta pots of flaming oil, flights of burning arrows, disease-ridden rats catapulted into calamitous, calm blue skies, unexpected showers of boiling water or tar hurled from high places. In 1066, the body of the king was so mutilated that it couldn't be found. His mistress, Edith the Swan Neck, took it upon herself, wandering among mounds of human rubble in the October dawn, fog spiking her fur mantle, her gown muddied to the knees, hands stained the colour of garnets, her heart but a sink from start-stop grief. The chronicles report that eventually she told the men, "This is Harold, my lover, my man, my boy, my baby." His body identified by certain secret marks known only to her. And I'll give you the final one now. I'll give you the title poem, which brings us back to a moon, a little. And I was joking to somebody yesterday. This is for my sister, Blue, and it's almost like we haven't got a written contract, but I almost feel I have to mention it every time because the painting on the cover of the book is by my sister. So, Tidal, for Blue. Some days are best spent at salty lemon places, walking a long spit of land jutting out into the bay, swimming to rocks furthest from shore, learning how to read the ocean before it turns murderous, out of one's depth, in full knowledge of the barnacled causeway home. They say the tides are subject to the moon, that a woman is subject to the moon. Am I tidal? Does salt water remember me when I come to float, my hair turning into sea spaghetti? Does the ocean whisper, sister? Might I offer myself up to her care one high, stormy day, dragged westward on the turn, disappearing into blue and grey on a final adventure? The ocean says, not yet, but later. Come to me later with your seaweed hair and tidal salt blood. Catch the current with the basking sharks, out to where the whales and shipwrecks are, and then deep direct down to marvel at the pulsing beacons of strange fish who will guide you home. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for listening.
It was downright moony. Swoony, moony, beautiful. You know, when I know that you're focusing on where the moon isn't, but the moon was everywhere because tidal, of course. The moon, I mean, the moon carries the tides. So the moon is coursing all through your book, all through your book. And I want to also say what I really appreciated about how you the Jack the Ripper poem, this sequence. I I love any poet who illuminates our obsessions with history and history's obsessions. And of course, you also were featured on our Titanic, one of our Titanic readings. So I always appreciate when you bring history to bear into the poems because we truly, truly, I think the poets actually tell history better than anyone, perhaps better even than the historians. Which is reminding me that Evan Boland has a collection called her final collection was called The Historians. So
Yes.
thank you for bringing bringing history to the table today, bringing the past, but also bringing the very, very current present, very, very current present, and of course, always the moon, always the moon. The book is Tidal, and I cannot wait till I have a signed copy.
Well, we will be meeting up next year, I hope.
We will indeed. We will indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for starting off our month of moons. Our month of moons.
My
Beautiful.
absolute joy. Thank you.
Well, friends, the amazement continues. And what I'm going to say is twin moons must be the fare for tonight because I had the joy of hearing our next reader, Elise Patchen, read twice this year. Once online, although I intended to be in person at the storied Grolier Poetry Bookshop in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and once in person this June at the equally storied Elliott Bay Bookstore in Seattle. And because I love synchronicities so much, the beautiful synchronicity of this particular reading with Elise is that both times I saw Elise read, she was reading with her dear friend and one of last December's featured poets, Sophie Cabot Black. So fabulous to have your amazing presence with us today, Elise. And now, folks, let me share. Yeah, what an incredible pleasure to um, be able to meet you in person after having, been introduced to your poetry. Well previous to that, but to be able to hear you for the first times in readings. And now the more formal bio. Elise Patchen, an enrolled member of the Osage Nation, is the author of 6 poetry collections, most recently, Blood Wolf Moon from 2025, published earlier this year. Her poems have been published widely, including in Poetry Magazine, The New Yorker, a Norton Anthology of Native Nations Poetry, and the Best American Poetry. She has edited or co-edited numerous anthologies, such as The Eloquent Poem and the New York Times bestseller, Poetry Speaks. Dr. Patchen teaches currently in the MFA program at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Thank you again. I'm so looking forward 3 times the charm, even though the first 2 were also charming.
Sandy, thank you so much. That's such a beautiful introduction and happy to see you here on Zoom. And oh my goodness, Karen, that was such a beautiful reading. I could just sit here all day listening to you read. Truly exceptional. I wrote my doctoral dissertation on William Butler Yeats at Oxford University. So I'm steeped in Irish poetry, and my professor in college was Seamus Heaney. So really so happy to share the Zoom stage with you. Karen, thank you. So like Karen, I'm going to be giving you some poems with the moon and some poems from my book whose title is Blood Wolf Moon. But I'm going to begin with an earlier poem. Oops, I hope you can see it, from my book called Bestiary. I know it's kind of going in and out. And it's called Barn Owl and Moon. Nightfall, we stretch and tumble under rafters beneath the moon, bat's breath against our lips, the barn owl and the moon. A scream, a snore, a hiss, a click, a scratch. Duets of eyes ignite, burn out the night. Your heart-shaped face, talons and tawny skin, my crescent arc waxing, all marrow, pearl. Fixed in the sky, a scythe, afraid to cut, we hide. This flash might blind and talons strip. It's dark. A drumbeat of feathers scales up my spine. Wrapped out of breath, we tilt, take wing. You clasp a shell of skin. I shed more light, tucked between claw and claw. Rise above earth, the barn owl and the moon. And Sandy, I'm happy that you invited me to think about the moon, because in Chicago, I live in Chicago, and Thanksgiving Day, we went and saw two snowy owls that came down from the Arctic. And I was thinking, I forgot about my barn owl and moon poem. So thank you for reminding me that I have an owl and a moon poem there. So I now am going to segue into more of a historical aspect of my writing as well, which Sandy knows. So a line from this book, a line from a poem in this book, Bestiary, called Wigia, was used as the title for David Grant's book and Martin Scorsese's movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. The line in the poem reads, during Zaga Ziga Setha, the killer of the Flowers Moon. It's inspired by this deep research I did since actually high school, this period of American history that people didn't really know about until David Grant's book and the movie came out, called The Reign of Terror, 1921 through 1926. The Osages were considered one of the richest people in the world because of the oil under our land, and outsiders came in and married the Osage and killed them for their head rights. So I've been trying to write about this period. I wanted to write a prose book. I wrote a screenplay with a friend. I have a moon chart on my desk, which are the Osage moons. And this poem is spoken by Molly Burkhart, whose sister Anna Kyle Brown was murdered, one of the very first murders during the Reign of Terror in 1921. And when I was thinking about this, the subject matter, I was thinking about the moons and what moon, in what month she was killed, which was May, and that was during Zaga Ziga Setha, the killer of the flowers moon. So the epigraph reads, Anna Kyle Brown, Osage, 1896 to 1921, Fairfax, Oklahoma. Wigia. Because she died where the ravine falls into water, because they dragged her down to the creek. In death, she wore her blue broadcloth skirt. Though frost blanketed the grass, she cooled her feet in the spring. Because I turned the log with my foot, her slippers floated downstream into the dam. Because after the thaw, the hunters discovered her body. Because she lived without our mother. Because she had inherited head rights for oil beneath the land. She was carrying his offspring. The sheriff disguised her death as whiskey poisoning. Because when he carved her body up, he saw the bullet hole in her skull. Because when she was murdered, the leg clutchers bloomed, but then froze under the weight of frost. During the Zaga Ziga Setha, the killer of the flowers moon, I will wade across the river of the blackfish, the otter, the beaver. I will climb the bank where the willow never dies. So I'm now going to switch gears and read poems from my new book, Blood Wolf Moon. Oopsie, I'm sorry you can't really see it, but it's a beautiful cover by Addie Roanhorse, who's an Osage artist. This is a ledger map of the district I come from, which is Gray Horse. And my family is part of the Buffalo clan. And I'm going to read, well, I'm going to begin by telling you that this book takes a deep dive into my Osage storylines. And the poem begins with a long poem. The book begins with a long poem called Heritage, which consists of a bracelet of poems where the last line of the first poem becomes the first line of the next. So I'm going to begin at the very beginning and we'll end up with a couple of moon references. Heritage. Once I had a name for everything I possessed, but now I'm silent, afraid to trespass. When I leave the conversation or seem preoccupied, I travel that island where lupins in summer devour the rocky terrain. Those flowers named after the slate blue wolves who keen in Night's Hollow, who scavenge the tundra across the hectares and hectares, the way they test the air, how their topaz eyes never lose sight of their quarry, how they track any escape with a slow nod, a careful paw to the earth. Those wolves never roved that island. I only pretend they did. Stories of those who came before, the ones who followed the cloudy gray, the loafer wolves or buffalo runners across the plains, chanted their songs, hunting, haunted, found their shapes, carved silhouettes in the sky. Those whose land extended past states, the extinct, extinguished, our next of kin. 2. Extinguished, our next of kin, extinguished, our next of kin descended from constellations, the little ones desiring a form out of air into muscle, sinew, limbs, landing in red oak trees, and with the heft of their new bodies scattered capped oak nuts across the earth. Underneath branches, each acorn, a child to be born. How eagle navigated the downward flight, wings spackled, catching spirals of wind. Waters blown across land masses sculpted by great elk, the earth maker, as hooves sunk, torso and antlers heaved into ocean. The water people, the name givers, gave appellations to the sky people, the land people. I have always been earthbound and obstinate, drawn to these rising and falling hills, the tall grass prairies, the dear rutting moon hovering over the ridge. How I mapped the rental car onto back roads, the trails my relatives crisscrossed on their seasonal hunts, until I was lost. My Osage name, Tsehungaweko, descends from the Buffalo clan. I seek out bodies of water, the way those who came before settled along the deep tributaries, the veins on the backs of our hands, hands I recognize in those oval family portraits. Long, lean, poised. I was born in the month of the blood wolf moon. Three. I was born in the month of the blood wolf moon. My mother said icicles shook the trees as she and my father traipsed along the black sheet sidewalk to their convertible. Her timed contractions stretched out hours long until almost midnight. After how many miscarriages? Hospital bedside, my aunt and uncle smiled over the crib. Or was that just a photograph? Tell me about departure. Tell me how often she left the newborn, jetted away on Pan Am, tied up the ribbons of her satin toe shoes. I am not one to antagonize her. I bow low to her voice. She who crossed the iron curtain, searching for the baby photos inside stamped envelopes, memory's slate of hand. I don't remember how she vanished or when, tiptoeing into the cape of night, wrapped in ermine, in mink, flabbergasting audiences with every pirouette. Frozen, perfect, the star blazing on stage. So one more from this sequence to discontinue this chain. We'll get some stars in this one. For the star blazing on the stage of the firmament, the brightest of stars, Sirius, the dog star, flashy shiner in the constellation Canis Major, named the trickster by the Pawnee, or the coyote star. The Osage said, the wolf that hangs by the side of Heaven's star. Alone, compact, content, to howl louder than any other. One night, I heard the wolves inside their makeshift enclosure yowling back to the sirens, our two dogs strained on the leash. The caterwauling of wolves carried by wind across blocks of tree-thick streets. The rough blasts in the city. The maelstroms on that Lupin Island when I couldn't hear my voice shout, warning our children. From Pahuska to Fairfax, driving in Oklahoma, how brash the wind. So this book, Blood Wolf Moon, is modeled after the 5 acts of a play. And if you should end up, with a copy of this book, I urge you to read it from beginning to end. I hope it can read, that there's just, this tension and countertension and counterpoint. I wrote it very differently than other books of poetry. So I'm going to end with 3 short poems, and these are all from section 5. And I'm not sure we have a moon, sadly, but anyway, that it is what it is. But we do have with this first poem, it's very snowy here in Chicago, very cold. And this is a poem about birds in winter. Divination. Snowbound, around a robin's huddle on high, ruby red baubles, they garland icy branches of the oak, hiding song inside. I forecast birth, a steady melt when nests, empty for months beneath rain pipes, shingles will be feathered, twined. Those clutches of 3, their own trinity, after the tug of worms from mud, beneath the puff of wing, minuscule eggs, bluer than rapture. So over many years, the Osage dictionaries have influenced my work. So we could see that in the poem Wigia, with the title Wigia, which I forgot to tell you, means prayer in Osage. But I've drawn from our Osage language. We've created our own Osage orthography. And so the ending of the book ends with poems in 3 columns, where you see the phonetic spelling and the Osage orthography, phonetic spelling, and then the English. So I will conclude with 2 poems at the end of this book. Snare. Fish scales tremble at the edge of the water, smoky with mud. Starved, I walk in the water. Blazing star, braided fish, I catch in the snare of life. Stay quiet, stay all night. And here's the last poem. Typewriter. I zigzag into the world, a woman, a wolf, within my heart, an untamed horse. What do you call it? The wind. Which pathway to that star or the orbit of a star? Vapor rises off standing water. Upstairs, tell untruths, that of a tongue. Time is just the ticking noise against metal. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Elise, I hope I get to hear you read from this book in perpetuity because it gets richer and richer and more layered every time I hear it. And I was in amazement, and I was, of course, deeply impressed, the first time and the second. But again, the layers, and of course, I want to acknowledge what I'm really hearing in your work is when that perhaps, and maybe you feel this way and maybe you don't, but I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like when we dive into our histories, I believe we really are able as poets to unlock our truest lyrics. And the lyricism of your poetry, I think any of the Irish poets in here would they can appreciate that you studied with Haney. They're beautiful, beautiful. The poems are just so beautifully lyrical, and just so precise and rich, um, in everything they're evoking. So, folks, the book is Blood, Wolf, Moon. And I also want to say, wherever there are stars, Elise, the moon is not far. Moon is not far.
Yes.
The
There are a
moon,
lot of stars in this, I realize.
yeah, there are a lot of stars. So thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Thank you
Beautiful.
so
Thank you so much.
much.
Well, folks, I always try to prepare you for what you're about to hear, and I can never adequately do it because the poets always exceed my own wildest imagination, which is pretty wild, as you know. So again, thank you so much to Karen and Elise, and we'll come back later in the program and show our deep appreciation to the both of you. And now, of course, we turn to all of you, as many as we can, in our moon uh, open mic, our first open mic of December in this season of light. And I'm so excited. Our first reader today, Laura Garrard, has debut collection coming out very, very soon. So welcome, and glad you could bring us a poem today.
Thanks, Sandy. Thanks so much, Karen. At least that was wonderful. This is dedicated to the magic of the season. I lie awake dreaming. I softly smile awake in the middle of the night, giddy as a kid up late, under skylight moonlight. I am middle-aged, yet still dream while alert. Trick time while all else is still, contrasting the tick of my heart. I cradle my beagle like a child, rhythmically stroke her coat. My mind frees into nighttime quiet. The mystery of the moon imparts mischievous magic in my midst. Beyond the bed knobs are broomsticks. I walk through a wardrobe into a snowy fawn forest, crawl through a critter-sized hollow, hunt heffalumps in 100-acre wood. And as I drift further from consciousness, I click the heels of my red slippers and whisper, "There's no place like the home of myself." Thanks, guys. I put my book link in the chat.
Thank you so much, Laura. And yeah, great reminder, folks. Please do put links to your collections, upcoming readings, anything you care to, in the chat. And Laura, hopefully, maybe I'll see you next week. I'll be coming to Washington, so hopefully I'll see you. And next, Mary Louise, Kiernan, and I saw you last December when we were reading, and I see you have a reading upcoming at Next Words in Elting, New York, where we got to have a pretty magical night with like people at a bar after. It was a really festive time. It was amazing. I'm really glad you're able to join us today. So good to see you.
Oh, happy to be here, Sandy. I just want to say what a wonderful pairing of featured poets. I am totally inspired. And I only have one poem with the word moon in it. And it is the shortest poem I've ever written. It's in my collection and it's in the third section. And I opened that section with a quote by Maggie Kuhn, who was the founder of the Grey Panthers. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. And here is my short poem with the word moon in it. Turning 40. Turning 40 on a full moon. Let the lunacy begin.
Oh my gosh. It's been a while since I turned 40, but I can relate to that's what happened. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you have the link to the chat for your reading, because I know Zoom is part of that reading, please do put that in the chat. It's a great reading series, Next Words, Elting Public Library. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, really great reading series. And terrific location in yeah. Now, why am I blanking? It's in New Paltz, fabulous New Paltz, New York. Amazing, amazing place. I loved spending time there.
Yes, and I will interrupt. We spent the evening at the Lemon Squeeze.
Lemon Squeeze.
Live music, entertainment, a musical open mic. Anybody who wants to come up the night of my reading, it'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, what a night. Yeah, the Lemon Squeeze. Man, it was a lot of entertainment. Beyond the entertainment. Yeah, if you're anywhere close, go to New Paltz that night. Thank you, Mary Louise. Great to see you. Kara Briggs, so glad you were able to make the reading today, and always love hearing poems from you, of course. And I hope to see you next week too.
Oops, you skipped Marjorie.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Marjorie. I'm in between pages on my cheat sheet, so I'm so sorry. So I don't take back what I said about Kara, but I also say I'm very excited to see Marjorie too. Yeah, Marjorie gave one of our memorable readings earlier. Well, every reading by you is memorable. So, but I'm thinking that reading with your daughter's artwork, never ever forget that reading. So, and we had the pleasure of actually meeting in person this year too. So fabulous. Glad you're here today.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great to meet you at Mercy at the Sea, by the sea. This is an old poem from my first book, but the moon drifts in and out. So, Winter Mail. January, the moon emptying itself onto the back porch, away from snow, afraid of whiteness it senses in itself. I know this like I know a story, real apart from the fact, how truth and tale now move together, now pass all that the other is, as current, as the slow, cold twirl of water under ice, and even like this envelope, small in my hand, violet, my grandmother's script curling toward embrace, toward all that no longer is. 3 days after her death, she can't catch up. Her voice in the creak of paper, the flap she kissed unsealed, and me, believing, really believing, she sits waiting, rocking, dreaming of a reply. On crisp stationery, I write her skin, scent, smoke, and 10-year dresses, carefully, letters large enough to read without glasses or squinting. Tonight, I'll walk to the box in my robe, slip the letter in, the envelope shiny in this moon, clean and white and blank as new ice. So that was a true story. I got a letter that my grandmother had written, and by the time I got it, she had died. So
Wow. It is always, always good when we bring the elders in. It is always good to bring the elders in. Thank you for that. Wow, very poignant poem. Yeah, that's the divine speaking in a poem, and the divine speaking to you when you got that letter. Thank you so much. I hope I'll see you soon. Again, come back this month if you can. Always great to hear you. All right, now we go to Kara Briggs. I echo everything I just said, and then some. Again, I'm thinking about memorable poems that you've shared with us since you've been coming to Cultivating Voices. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to today's.
Thank you, Sandy. And just for Elise, I will say I am an enrolled Soxwattle tribal member and Yakima descended. This poem, just as a clue, comes from the deep mythology of these tribes, but neighboring tribes to us. So deep in the Northwest indigenous mythology. Sometimes people miss that. Women cutting loose at day's end. By the riverbank, women weary from cleaning, filleting, putting up salmon in jars. So many jars, the stack reaches high in the night sky. Women ready to put down some coin on the bone games, willing to dance in the moonlight, remembering what it was to dance with the starman, his hands glittering silver dust, to even take a moonlight turn with him. But remember, never go back to the stars with him. Remember the safety of spruce roots. Remember that even salmon sheltering rely on gravity to keep earthbound at night. Grind sneakers in the dirt so the feet remember. This is where you belong. The drum wafting through the firs, love calling to owl dance. In the meadow of the forest, their love, the two terrestrially born, remembering here she belongs. With this one from a neighboring tribe, their home in the cedar wood, hearth fire always burning.
Beautiful. Beautiful poem. And you too have a connection with studying in Ireland as well. We can't get into everything today, as you know, but I love that you and Elise share that, share that connection, share that connection. Latest book, your debut collection, Rivers in My Veins, folks. Of course, we've heard poems from it in New Book Showcase and everything. Please put it in the chat. Love the collection. Deeply, deeply, deeply admire the collection so much. Thank you so much, my good friend. I hope I'll see you next week sometime. I just muted myself. Why would I mute myself when I have the opportunity to introduce Jude Marr? That's crazy. It's always a good day when a Jude Marr poem is on the table. Thank you, Jude, for making my day.
Thank you, Sandy. I've, as an aside, I had to replace my laptop since we last gathered here. And I've been looking at myself as you do and thinking what a much better camera this laptop has. So I hope, that everyone is appreciating, they can see me better. This is the only poem, as far as I can recall, that I've ever written about the moon. And it's a relatively recent one. It's called, I don't love the title, if anyone can think of a better one, but it's at the moment called Earth's Moon as Other. Child of violence, ejected from our planet's cosmic broil, only to remain codependent. Your atmosphere a smear, your gravity light. Your dagger dust will shred any hand that dares, naked, in the orbit of a single breath. You are cold as hate, also incinerator hot, unconquerable. Which is to say, you do not meet our needs, except as myth, except as metaphor, except that you are blood. You breathe with us. We breathe with you.
If that's the only poem that you can recall that has the moon in it, I encourage you to add moon into more of your poems. Not that you need your poems to be any better. I'm just saying. Just saying. Stellar. Stellar. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jude. And I hope I'll see you. I hope I'll see you the whole month, of course. So we'll hear another poem on the 21st on the solstice. Well, now we go to my dear co-host of Last Tuesdays with Sandy and Thomas. Hello, hello, my friend. And I'm looking forward to seeing you very, very soon. And what do you memorably have to share with us today?
Well, I've been reminded this year by some cold winters in the Midwest that you've never seen a moon so bright as when it's 10 below zero. And so this is a present from a loved one who's not present from some time ago. I'm walking home and it's late and cold winter and no one's come home from the party with me. And it's so cold, my breath is frosting my eyelashes shut almost. When I look up and the just past first quarter moon has a pale green and lavender ring around it. And how can this be? The radius of that circle just happens to be the apparent distance from Moon to Jupiter, so Jupiter is set in amethyst and gold around the winter's second moon, and I actually think of you, that you should have seen it, and my eyes momentarily thaw themselves, and my child self returns, the one that walked winters on the earth and snow in Illinois until his eyelashes froze almost shut, him that you and this atmospheric accident have somehow helped to be present and here on this sidewalk, even after I had thought I'd seen him long dead and lying frozen under the exposed roots of some river's dark and stony bend.
Beautiful. I have to say, Kim and I concur with you. You see the moon so much more crisply when it is 10 below zero. We saw it when we both lived in Lincoln. That's probably the coldest, living in Lincoln. Although I lived in upstate New York, that was pretty cold. But the moons in Nebraska in the winters, maybe Kim will come in and confirm that a little later on. But yeah, you could really see them crisp crisp in that big prairie sky. That big prairie sky. Mm. Thanks for the gift of your poem and the gift of you. So many amazing books we had the pleasure to be in the presence of this year. Thomas's, of course, My Heart Is Not Asleep. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And Tweedy, the end of a semester for you, your first in Mississippi. And I'm so glad to see you with us today. And I'm looking forward to catching up more and hearing more about how things have been progressing with you. But for now, we get to hear what I know will be an incredible poem because I've had the pleasure of hearing your poems and reading with you. And I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to see you too. This one, it just has a moon cameo, but it's called Semantics. Sunny side up was always for eggs. My mouth would start to smile saying it. At 4, 5, 6, whenever I was asked, it was sunny side up. It wasn't the hardened pits of bubbles perfect in their moonscape, nor the blurry runniness you could soak up with toast if you had it. In taste, over easy outdoes sunny side up, but the flip trades the stark gown for one of dingy gray. It was about the sun, how you could talk about it when you ate and pretend breakfast and the weather were the same. It was about the cheek muscles rising in the saying. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you. Let's catch up soon. Okay, we'll see you soon. All right. Lenny DellaRocca, I'm so excited to have you here on the program. Lenny's forthcoming collection, Pandemonium, will be featured with us here in June. So glad to have you here always. And thanks for all the good work you do as in all your facets as poetry citizen, including one of my favorite facets, SoFlo Pojo, otherwise known as South Florida Poetry Journal. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Kim. What a great poetry afternoon. This has been phenomenal. I'm gonna put a link in for my book, Pandemonium, in the chat, if I may. It's from Slipstream Press. And where's the chat? Here it is. And then my poem. This is an older one. It's, been a while since I've written this. This is called She Is Called Many Things. Call her Moon Rumor and hold her tight. Call her Silver Woman in a shimmer of red satin, saint of dangerous horses. Call her Lilith, witch of cycles, cloth of God. Call her Abracadabra, broken glass. Call her Kiss Storm or Bird Flame, cache of snow on winter's branch, silent iris, pitch and rage. Call her back from a lost Parisian rhyme. Sometimes her name is 4 o'clock light in a corner room. Call her Stargone, root or foal. Call her something from the ground that comes back each spring. Call her petulant hero, loam or tendril. Call her sundial, call her chime, or rain at summer's end. But do not cut the flowers from her mouth. Do not close her eyes when she's dead. Do not film her sadness with a poem, or burn a candle in her slipper. But where am I in her smoke and diary? A man hungering for her lace when she is sleeping, where her ghost plays piano in the snow, when she dreams of blood and lions. Call her Earth's reluctant angel, but do not scatter ashes when she's gone. Build a fountain or a tower, build a house. Fill the rooms with lavender and Mozart, Open all the windows. Let her go. Thank you.
Ooh, I didn't see that coming at the end. Open the window, let her go. Wow, fabulous. Thank you so much, Lenny. Oh, and folks, I've had the pleasure of reading the poems in Pandemonium. They are extra super galactic. I don't even have a, they truly are pandemonious. They are pandemonious. So oh gosh, yeah, I can't wait for that reading. Thank you so much, Lenny. And we'll see you soon. All right, friends. Laurie MacFayden, I'm so happy to have you back here. I think this will be your third reading. 3 times the charm. And let's just see, is Laurie with us still? I want to double check. I want to make sure, because if not...
Whoops.
There you are.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. I just don't have everybody on screen, so I can't
Okay.
see, so no worries. I love the contrast, your shirt and behind. Fab.
Thank you. You're looking lovely as always. Okay, go. This piece is inspired by the title of a Marge Piercy book called The Moon is Always Female. So bear with me if my dog starts barking. She's a little excited that I'm, in the big, poetry screen right now. But anyway, okay, here we go. This is from a book called Walking Through Turquoise, and it's available on Amazon if you are still ordering things through Amazon, and also it can be ordered from independent bookstores. So Walking Through Turquoise. The publisher is Frontenac House in Calgary, Canada. Okay, what if the moon? What if the moon doesn't come when you call? We all have our own version of the midnight howl. We all have our 28-day rhythms. We just keep going, sometimes broken in body and spirit because we know the moon will always be there to start the cycles up again. But what if the moon doesn't come when you call? What if she takes a break? The moon isn't a man, The moon, as Marge Piercy will tell you, is always female. And it would seem logical that she might decide she needs a rest once in a while. Logical is probably not a word that fits with anything lunar, but what the hell, and there you have it. So, the moon is not answering your call, your personal howl, because she's gone on a DIY retreat with Cassiopeia and Lucy and Mimosa. They're having quite a romp, and this has caused a bitter shifting in the night sky. You don't like it? Well, here's the thing. It's not all about you. It never has been. It may have always felt like the moon was put up there for your viewing and stewing and wooing pleasure, but the fact of the matter is that moon, she is so tired of being a container for all the seekers on Earth, tired of the slings and arrows, tired of the harangue over Neil Armstrong and did he or didn't he? I'm not authorized to tell. Look, who do you think is the mistress of the tides? If the moon no longer comes when you call, find a body of salt water, quickly, and beg forgiveness. Thank you.
Great. Fabulous. Thank you for also bringing Marge Piercy to the table today. Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much, Laurie. Great to have you back with us. I look forward to next time.
Yeah,
and please do put the book in the chat too. Don't forget.
Okay.
Okay. All right, my dear Anya Kirshbaum. There's so much I could say, but I'm just going to let your poem speak for itself.
Oh. Hi, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I feel so inspired to write moon love poems right now. I mean, and it just I haven't done it, but I'm ready. I know about the globe. This is a poem I have where the moons show up. So Um, okay. Want of a child. Even then, so small, I answered to a mother's sadness. From deep in the unmade rooms of my body aflame. It was fashioned of something slighter than words, ungraspable as water in fogged air. A kind of wanting, written onto the rungs of my vertebrae, ancient, unsung. Even then, a child myself, I searched the yard for something. Snail shell, mouse tooth, earthworm's pink undulation, or the onions, wild, proliferating in ink-black soil. How I dug and dug for them, their sharp dirt scent. How much I craved holding those shrunken moons, the heft of marbles in my palm. What is born from darkness, folded under swallow's wing or pungent soil, from a place so deep, so tender, cavern of uterus that doesn't bring, and doesn't bring, child, written and unwritten. Then, so suddenly, a meadow, fireweed after blaze storm. Thank you.
Whew, okay. I always have to recover in the best human way after one of your poems. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you'll read it to me in person when I see you next. Okay. Kim, make a note. Of course, today's moon poems it's been off the chart. But Anya has invited us to take it to the next level. The next time we do this, it's moon love poems. All moon, all love, all 90 minutes. Okay, that's for the future, my friends. I'm going to stay in the present. Try. Oh, yeah, no, I'm staying in the present because up next, Lynda VE Crawford. Woo! Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and woo is the word because I am chastising the moon in this poem. I just want to say, I think, isn't it American poet Dorian Lux, I think, who said, "Don't let anyone tell you you can't write about the moon," right? Everybody can write about the moon. Okay, my moon poem. It's a serious one. A blood moon failed in its duty. Its rufous bigness, too near for thought, too distracting for escape to the north. Such closeness caused some men to pause, lose their women by their stilled movement. Such red dominance over earth's waters made women plan with brilliance for dark paths. A blood moon failed in its duty, caused me to return to the earth I left behind, caused me to shed strong, uproot balance between light and dark, determined to chastise. But not you, star. I will not eclipse you. I thank you, North Star. I forgive you, sun, though you did not heighten your tug. And so the earth could not bulge enough to toss. But you, Luna, where was your burnt sienna bigness? Where was your power when I wanted your tidal to heave, to break up ocean ships before they started to take. Where were you, Luna? Poem. Thank you.
There's nothing I can say but hold up the moon for you. That's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, what a reading, folks. We have, and we're getting through the waiting list a little bit. I'm going to be quiet. And now we're going to go to Greg Friedman. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great, Sandy. It's wonderful to be in this good company. This is Carol for the Millennium Nativity. Light, light, briefer bright where bricks boundary the dark, here lines of lunar luminescence cross, a candle or perhaps some strung electric intersects the shadows. Colors blur when I squint and carols cleave to the breath of years. Shortest night, unhurried flight under the moon into an urban Egypt, where the Herods of the limos and the lies defy a heavenly host of ebony angels on these unforgiving playgrounds, where innocence let go of Rachel's hand and gush expectancies onto the terminal concrete. Infant night, solstice, sight blink and become mature midday, stars lost in a dry plain of brilliance, in the choke of desert near the Texas border. Here the Juarez Madonna, Our Lady of Anapra, clutches her joy in a cave of pasteboard above the electric lines in the dust. Seek sight in noontime light, unwise man, from the memory of a lost Christmas. You are wrapped in your tent of flesh, where ancient iron punctures your palms and splintered love stabs where once a newborn hand clutched crossed straws and spelled out in slumbering hope. Thank you.
I'm telling you, friends, the moon is bringing out the best in your poems today. Ooh, fabulous, Greg. Thank you so, so much. I look forward to next time. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Billy Brown. How lucky are we to get to hear a poem from Billy Brown today? Oh, yeah.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for this very, very inspiring reading, especially to our two featured readers. This poem, by the way, I had two moon songs to sing, but there's not time. Maybe next time. This poem was written many years ago, 10, 15 years ago, as I was driving west into a brilliant setting full moon. And I wrote it in Spanish. It's very short. I'll read the Spanish and then the English translation. La luna, llena y brillante, encánteme bastante. La luna, círculo perfecto, me dice que te amo. The moon, full and brilliant, enchants me enough. The moon, perfect circle, tells me I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Billy. And, I think the moon is beautiful in every single language. All moon language is gorgeous in all languages.
Truth.
That's
Sandy, I
what-
think we have about 7 minutes left. Do you think we can fit two more poets
Let's
from our
do
waiting
it.
list?
Yes,
Okay,
let's
so that
go.
would be Harvey and then Isaac. And for those of you we just don't quite have time for, we're very sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will stay out of the way. Harvey, take it away, Artful Dodger.
Okay, I was delving in my oeuvre for moon poems and only found three, two of which I hadn't realized I'd written. This is one of those. It's called Real Housewives of the Dark Side of the Moon. Not much is known about them, their lives, their loves, their attitude towards a pair of leopard print Jimmy Choo shoes, those small craters that their stilettos make as they parade their fussy little pets through moon dust are all but unnoticeable, with Nielsen ratings rising above those of the housewives of Beverly Hills. They spend moonless nights and the better part of their days color coordinating fake nail appliques, conscientious hostesses determined to be talk show ready to entertain their guests, expected or unexpected, the next time Russian, Chinese, or American adventurers venture to take one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind on that side of the moon which is facing away from us, where McDonnell's Golden Arches and Burger King's Have It Your Way haven't set foot. Whoops, where'd everybody go?
Thank you so much, Harvey. And I saw that you put in the chat, folks. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Keep putting yourself in the chat, everyone. All your information about upcoming readings, books, all of that. Please do. And we're going to close today with our good friend Isaac Cohen. Welcome, Isaac. So glad to see you. I know my mom, who will be listening and recording for the rest of the reading, will be very, very happy to when you come up on screen for her.
Yes. Dear Sandy, dear Dawn, dear Kim, dear Carol. Isaac Cohen. A moon of hope. Dear child, go to the stepping valley. Look at the moon that shines. Go to the sea of flowers that are in front of your eyes. Take your hope to the troubles and overcome it until you fly the elated happiness. Thank you, Icon Israel. And it is a wonderful time that no war and no rocket and the news still come.
Yes.
Thank you, Icon.
Thank you. Thank you always for bringing your wisdom around peace. And you remind me, everyone should have a moon globe, because on the moon globe, you can see all the different moon seas on the moon globe. So before we give our thanks to our readers, a very, 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 very quick moon poem from me, 8 lines. I was teaching I was doing a little workshop where next week on December 10th is Emily Dickinson's 195th birthday on December 10th. So we were doing imitations of hymn meter, and this one just happened to have the moon show up in it. No title, of course, if I'm imitating Emily. Of what the moon said of wonder, and what wonder replied, could be the stuff of centuries, if left behind to sky. For what began an awful waste turned into mystery. Now wonder and moon transfixed haste into a grander story. little imitation of Emily Dickinson and the moon there for you all. My friends, what a galactic reading today. What an absolutely spectacular galactic reading. I want to thank once again our amazing lunar features, chock full of humanity and history and the lyric. Beautiful readings from Karen J. McDonnell and Elise Patchen. And all of you on the open mic, Laura, Mary, Marjorie, Kara, Jude, Thomas, Anne, Lenny, Laurie, Anya, Lynda, Greg, Billy, Harvey, and Isaac. I feel like I'm on Romper Room with the little mirror. I see all of you. Would you all please, those of us who read and those of us here for our listening pleasure, please unmute and show your appreciation for just our extraordinary constellation of poetry today.
Bravo,
Yay!
bravo.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yay.
It was really awesome. Oh, amazing.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, I hope you all will
Wonderful readings.
join us next week, of course, when we shine the light back on the moon in our new book, our new moon book showcase, our new book moon showcase. We'll have Jennifer Saunders, her book Tumor Moon, Ellen Stone, Catherine Strizik, and Josephine Loray, all with their new books, all with moons in the title. And of course, friends, as I mentioned before, mark your calendars now for the winter solstice, December 21st, when we close our 2025 season with our 6th annual holiday poetry open house, a very festive way to celebrate poetry together with our special guests, Matt Mooney and Patrick Lodge, and as many of you as we can spotlight on the open mic. Well, I'm Sandy Yannone with all best wishes to you as you continue to move through this season of light. Take care of yourselves, take very good care of your beloveds, and keep writing down the moon all that shine in your remarkable poems. And with thanks to Don Krieger and Kim Ports Parsons. Good night from New England. Be well, everyone.